Good morning, PogChamps, and welcome back to This Week in Memes, where the jokes are made up and the memes don't matter. Our first story, comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked while performing comedy, and I feel like we've covered this story already. As I'm sure you all know, in 2021, Dave Chappelle released a comedy special where he made a ton of jokes about the trans and LGBTQ+ community, in which he subsequently received a ton of backlash from former fans, trans activists, even the employees of Netflix hosting a walkout as a result of this special and the jokes that he made. One individual by the name of Isaiah Lee was supposedly so angered by these jokes that just the other night attended a Dave Chappelle show and attempted to tackle him live on stage and assault the man before being promptly escorted to the backstage by his security team, where he was promptly stomped half to death, which is the protocol for anybody who attacks a comedian, assuming that your name isn't Will Smith. Dave Chappelle handled it about as well as Chris Rock did after getting slapped by Will Smith. He picked up the microphone. He said, "Thank God that dude was clumsy," right after saying, "I'm going to kill that N-word," but I imagine in more of a state of passion after realizing that, you know, what had just happened to him on stage. The video of him getting escorted onto the stretcher in the ambulance afterwards, Dave Chappelle's security team beat the shit out of this dude. He looks awful. And the internet, of course, is as quick as ever comparing him that. Look at that. They're comparing him to Mojo Jojo. That's just unfair, dude. According to the police report, this individual is being charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I can't tell from the videos, but supposedly when he rushed Dave Chappelle on stage, he was armed with a knife concealed as a handgun. What? You have a knife that you need to make look not like a knife so you can get it through security at a comedy show, I presume. So you got a knife that looks like a gun, and you still got through security. What? It is not a safe world for comedians out there. The funniest thing to take away from this entire endeavor is the fact that Chris Rock was in the building that night, and after the assault, walked up to Dave Chappelle, grabbed the mic. I'm not gonna do it as well as he does. Watch the clip.
Was that Will Smith?
Transition. We officially have our first fan mail, episode 3, and the show's already going fantastic. This one's from Johnny in Vegas, who reads, "This week in memes, more like these memes are weak." So last Sunday there was a viral, this isn't the right background. So last Sunday there was a viral clip of some gamer rage that occurred at a gaming center in Florida between two Call of Duty teams that went viral on Twitter. I'll play the clip for you here.
Hey, don't fucking scream at me!
The individual who's screaming in this clip goes by the gamer tag QPan, and they were playing a game of Call of Duty in which clearly he was very frustrated, supposedly because the manager of the opposite team that he was playing against accused him of abusing Adderall, which, after watching this clip, can you really blame the guy? But supposedly, he had already received 2 different violations for misconduct in this way, and after this clip went turbo viral, he has since been banned from his college professional gaming team. First of all, colleges have professional gaming teams. Like, I wouldn't have dropped out if this was a thing when I was in school. But more importantly, I just want to express distaste for this lack of class when it comes to gaming. Like, anytime you see gamer rage moments like this in public or at LAN centers, it's always Call of Duty players, and it never seems warranted. Look at the same clip. The dude who's queuing up for a league match has a Yasuo bot lane into a Leona. If anybody has the right to start tilting, it's that guy, and yet he's cool as a cucumber scrolling Snapchat. I'm just so disappointed. Speaking of terrible games, the Overwatch 2 beta was released early last week, and people are genuinely upset with the lack of changes, aesthetics, or even game modes that was introduced with it. Overwatch, as always, has continued to be unfun to play, unentertaining to watch, seems like a competitive coin flip regardless of how much team play you implement into it, and that's just the notes I have about the first game. People have been memeing the tremendous amount of similarities between Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1, mostly because there are very few differences between Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1. So much so that they're even going through the same controversies that the original game had, specifically surrounding Tracer's ass. If you guys remember when the original Overwatch came out maybe 5 years ago, there was a bit of a controversy surrounding a pose that Tracer had that showed up a little bit too much of her butt cheeks, and so Overwatch removed this pose from the game for it being a little bit too lewd for a kid's game, and that's exactly what it is. If you play Overwatch, you're a child. Now, a similar controversy has come up with the Overwatch 2 beta, with people making comparisons that they feel like Tracer's ass has been nerfed. And me being an expert in Overwatch porn, the only redeeming quality of this game whatsoever, after hours and hours of research and meticulous detail scoping, I can confirm that Tracer's ass is the same size. It is still as flat as it has always been, and you're welcome for my dedicated efforts.
Transition!
I don't care how often I upload closer to 2 weeks than 1 week. I'm not calling the show This Fortnight in Memes. I refuse. Stop telling me to do that. All right, we've made fun of Overwatch. I talked about a comedian getting attacked. I now need to talk about British people on the internet to fill my meme quota. A British dude on Twitter got clowned just the other week for being British, but also being a journalist, which is, like a twofer when it comes to bad takes. Padriang tweeted, "Hi from America, where Walmart doesn't have a plug adapter for my UK laptop, but on the other hand, I can buy a rifle and ammunition. If you look closely, you'll notice that none of these are real weapons. In fact, every single one of these is a pellet gun, but leave it to a British dude to not get that right." In the replies of the tweet, the dude was clowned into insanity over this, letting him know, "Sir, it gets worse. Not only can you buy such weapons, but you can also buy an M1 Abrams tank. Look at that thing. You don't even need a license to buy this thing. Sir, it's even worse. You can buy grenades at the dollar store. Oh, the humanity. Won't you think of the children? Well, at least our schools aren't like bloody Call of Duty." Oh, man. How great. How happy are you that you understand this meme? Because I took all that time to make fun of British people like a week ago. You're welcome. The Better Call Saul Twitter tweeted this image of Giancarlo Esposito, in which they state, "Believe it or not, this is his happy face, hashtag Better Call Saul," which seems like an innocent enough tweet, but every single reply to this tweet, for whatever reason, is this image of Giancarlo Esposito saying, "You guys ever had gay thoughts, LMAO?" Which is a funny enough image, but seriously, there's like 500 replies with just this image, and it just seems like a funny little niche thing that happened on the internet that nobody's going to know about if I don't talk about it, so enjoy. Roe versus Wade was a Supreme Court decision made in 1973 that basically protected a woman's right to be able to do whatever she wanted with a pregnancy in regards to abortion without extraneous government intervention. This Supreme Court ruling was drafted to be overturned early this week and naturally has spawned a plethora of memes, all of which I think are hilarious. Dwayne Wade recently did an interview with Variety magazine in which he gave advice to fathers with trans children, very famously having a trans child himself, in which one Twitter user responded, "He's commenting on this and now I hear he's caught up in the abortion thing? Why is he involved in all this?" To which many people replied, "Well, he has a trans kid. Why wouldn't he have advice to give to people with trans kids?" To which the same individual replied, "Yeah, but why does he get to talk about abortion? I mean, is he really so famous that he has to have his name in a Supreme Court ruling?" Which means this individual believes that the Wade in Roe versus Wade is basketball player Dwayne Wade, and I think that is the funniest thing to happen in the last 6 years. The second meme that I have to assume comes from this Roe versus Wade news has to do with this, which is the aborted GF. You guys recognize these images. It sort of romanticizes different aspects of love and then puts it together in this pseudo-perfect but completely artificial and not real girlfriend that's got like quotes around it that have to do with like the buried fiber optic cable GF image that they used here isn't a great example. I feel like they should have used something like the childhood friend GF that's got all these quotes and it's like, oh, who hasn't had feelings for their childhood friend? But what is even happening? Like, I don't get this one, man. Are we romanticizing abortion? Because this is a weird one, man. It's a creepy one. Now, I know the internet has absolutely no like limits when it comes to what it is they're gonna fetishize for the sake of internet points. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this random chicken mascot from a restaurant in Thailand could become one. It's making me feel weird in a number of places. But people in the comments of this tweet that originally posted this clowned on it equally with equally ridiculous GF models. We've got aborted horse, uses a weirdly seductive image of a horse, the first quote of which is, "I'm not even sure they do horse abortions. Honestly, I didn't check. Now I can't kick you in the head and kill you. Oh no, what would we do if only this horse was able to live life?" We've got aborted employee, which is, I don't think this is a reference to any of the GF soy jacks. I think this is just somebody having fun with clip art, but nonetheless, it exists, therefore I must meme it. Snickers is removing the dick vein, and I could not be more upset. When I first saw the news, I couldn't believe it. First, they take away the sexiness of the green M&M, and now they're taking the dick veins out of my Mars candy bars? This is ridiculous. Now, Snickers has been compared to penises in a number of different ways. The veins on top of a Snickers bar do resemble a penis. I've held mine up to a Snickers bar many times just to be disappointed in the girth. And Snickers themselves haven't done themselves any favors in this comparison, making white Snickers about a ½ inch shorter than real Snickers. But when we're talking about phalluses, let's be fair. The difference in length here is at least 4½ inches if you were to ask the average American woman. I originally had a 45-minute uncut documentary comparing my anger towards the desexualization of candy in the United States. It was truly a masterpiece. And honestly, it's the reason I'm here. I mean, would you guys even be watching this show if I wasn't a little bit chubby? No, of course you wouldn't. And I don't eat candy that isn't at least a little bit sexy. So I'd be like 165 pounds with no YouTube career if it wasn't for stuff like the Snickers dick vein. Now, I had to scrap that entire project after Snopes came out with a tweet. No, they are not removing the dick vein from Mars candy bars after being pressured by a woke mob, which is good news for anybody who's been thinking of penises anytime they put something in their mouth. I am with you, my friends.
Like and subscribe.
So sometime last week, news broke out that Megan Fox in an interview stated that she and Machine Gun Kelly drink each other's blood for ritualistic purposes only, which I thought was just stupid Hollywood celebrity news making the rounds for whatever reason. That wasn't until I saw another article by Loudwire magazine that stated real vampires warned Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox about drinking blood, and I was intrigued. Reading into this, the statement was made by Belfazar Ashantasan, the co-founder of the New Orleans Vampire Association, and after going to their website, I learned that it is an association, a non-profit organization of self-identifying vampires. Now, I know I've never said this before, but one of my life goals is to be a vampire lord. And it turns out we could do it here. If we all decide to be a part of the same cult, and you guys decide to self-identify as vampires, I could identify as a vampire lord, and we would, without question, be the coolest community on YouTube. You'd have to eat a lot of red meat. I think you'd have to give up garlic bread. We wouldn't be able to go out while the daytime, but like, we don't go out in the sun anyway. Guys, come on, don't ruin this for me. Let's be the vampires. You don't even need to drink blood. I've done hours of research into this. They have different types of feedings, some known as contact feedings, which is actually drinking blood, but they also have ambient feedings, which is just going out in public with a lot of people, and tantric feedings through sexual encounters. We can be sex vampires! Listen, if you don't want to become a vampire and join House Sumito, I understand. Not everybody wants to join the coven. But I know every single one of you wants to smash that like button, baby. And don't forget to click confirm after you unsubscribe. You know the show is too damn good for your sub box. Big shout out to the Patreon boys scrolling in the back. Thank you for funding every episode. And I will catch you guys on the next week in memes. Spisu.